Question 1. Round 22,360 to one significant figure. So the most significant or important number here is in the 10,000s column. I just put this comma in to show where the thousands are, so 22,360. So which 10,000 is it closer to, 20,000 or 30,000? And my answer here is 20,000. Question 2. Rounding this to one significant figure. The most important or significant figure or digit here is in this column, which is the thousands column. So I need to think, is it going to stay the same, 7,000, or is it going to round up to 8,000? Is it close to 8,000? And in this case, it's closer to 8,000. Okay. Question 3. Now this is a skill which I know you guys will have done some at primary school. If you're finding 15% of an amount, firstly, what I would do is find 10%. To find 10%, you're going to divide by 10. So 380 divided by 10 would give you 10%. So that's going to be £38. 5% is half of 10%. So 5% is half of 38. So half of 38 is £19. So to get 15%, I'm going to add the 10% and the 5%. So I'm going to have to add 38 and 19. 38, 48, 58, 57 pounds. 5%, oh, we've already just found 5% there. It was 19 pounds. The working out is here. So 10% is 38, 5% is 19. So I'm just going to put C working there. Question 5. If you're multiplying a number by itself, if you had a times a, that would be a squared, a with a little 2 at the top right. If you have a times a times a, you have a cubed. A multiplied by itself with 3 a's all together. And it's the same kind of deal here. Z times z times z times z times z. There are 5 z's. Z to the power of, we say, 5. So this is an exponent. We say it's to the power of 5. Okay, find the missing terms. So it's going down. Between those two, I can see it's going down 4. And so what I'm going to just do is just continue that pattern. So this would be going down 4. So that would have to be 10 there. And then it would be going down 4 again to 6. So that works. So this one must be 4 higher. So if I'm going that way, it would have to be going up 4. So the missing terms are 22 and then 10. And it's exactly the same with this one. It's going down 3. So this one will be down 3 from there, so it's 21. This one must be 3 higher than 27, so it's 30. Okay, question 9. Guys, question 9 is stuff with ratios, and I don't think you do much of it at primary school, so it may be things that you're not really sure about. Now, it works just the same way as equivalent fractions work, what we've been doing in class. So it works in just the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'll write this 44, question mark to 44 underneath here. Now, we need to spot what we had to times 11 by to get to 44. So we had to multiply 11 by 4 to get 44. So I'd have to multiply 2 by 4 as well. That gives me 8 to 44, and that's your answer. So it's kind of, these are equivalent ratios. They work in just the same way as equivalent fractions. Same thing here. If I've got 5 to 2 and I want to go to 14, then that's multiplied by 7, because 2 times 7 is 14. So 5 is going to have to be multiplied by 7, and that gives me 35. Okay. Next question. Right, this is expanding brackets. Again, some of these things you won't really have seen, so it's really important that you try to use the video to help you, and just try to listen carefully. You will need much more practice on this kind of thing. What's outside the bracket, you're going to multiply by each thing inside the bracket. So I got 6x times by 7, which is going to give you 42. Because 6 times 7 is 42, but 42x, because it's still being multiplied by this x. And then you're going to do 6 times by 5x, which is going to give you plus 6 times 5 is 30, but also I still need that x. So that's a new skill, I think, in terms of you know getting good with that. 5x times 5 would give me 25x. 5x times 3x. Now this one is a bit trickier. It's 15, and then x times by itself will give me x squared. Just going back to this one, I have made an error here by rushing a little bit. What you have here is 6x times 7 is 42x, which is correct. But thinking about this one, 5x times 3x is 15x times x, which is x squared. I should have done the same thing here. So 6x times 5x gives you 30x times x, which is x squared. You can't collect these two together to make 72 because you have an x there but x squared here, which means they're not like terms and we can't collect them together. We can't add them together. Same thing here. I can't add these together, the 25 and the 15, because one is an x term and the other is a term with x squared. Okay, right, next question. Solving equations. If I have 15 times by a number which I don't know yet, I add 2, I have the answer of 17. In the next few weeks, we'll be doing these questions in class, so they'll become much easier. But the way you do it is you think about the equal sign as being a scale. Okay, so like it needs to stay balanced on each side. So if I take away 2 from this side, because I want to get x on its own, at the moment I've got 15x plus 2. So if I take away 2 from this side, I must take away 2 from this side to keep things balanced. If you take some weight off one side of the scale, you would need to take weight off the other side in order to keep it balanced. So you'd have 15 times by a number we don't know yet, is equal to, and on this side I've got 15. So if 15 times a number is 15, that number must be 1. 15 times 1 would be 15. So I can just divide both sides by 15, and that gives me my answer that x must be 1. If you think about that, 15 times 1 plus 2 does equal 17. And this is a balancing method of solving a linear equation, so solving an equation, which is what we will be doing over the next 2 or 3 weeks in class. Question 14. I'm going to take away 2 from both sides, just like I did last time. Now, it's not always going to be taking away 2. You're going to have to do the opposite, the inverse function of whatever this bit is here, okay, when you just have these kind of questions. So that's going to give me 14x equals 7. All right, now this is a bit, you're going to get a fraction answer here, because if 14 times by a number is 7, that number must be a half. 14 halves go into 7 wholes. So this is how it works. I divide both sides by 14. Now you think, oh, 7, you can't divide 7 by 14, but you can. We'll just write it as 7 divided by 14 as a fraction. And then you guys have been working on simplifying fractions. That's just the same as 1/2, because I can divide the top and the bottom both by 7. So x is equal to 1/2. Question 15. What is the square root of 25? The square root undoes the squaring. So if you know that 5 squared is 25, then the opposite gives you the square root. The square root of 25 is equal to 5. It undoes a squaring, a square rooting. The cube root undoes a cubing. This is tricky, right? So what times by itself 3 times is 125? The answer is it's 5. 5 cubed is equal to 5 times 5, which is 25, times by 5, which is 125. So the cube root, which I would write like this, of 125 is equal to 5. These are tricky questions, guys, and quite a few of these we haven't really covered significantly in class, so it's absolutely fine at this stage for you not to know the answer. But what you do need is to have a good quality correction and listening carefully, and that's going to help you with next week to try to get those right. Okay, question 17. 250 millimeters. So there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So there's more millimeters than centimeters. There's 10 times as many. So it's 25 centimeters. Because if you did 25 times by 10, you'd get the 250 millimeters. 100 millimeters, same thing, 10 centimeters. There's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. Last one, guys, no need for any last two, no need for any column methods here. We're just going to do the 3 times by the 2. And that gives you 6, and then we've got 2 zeros in the original calculation, so we can just put those zeros in, and that's going to be 600. And the same kind of thing here. We got 8 and 5, which is going to give me 8 times by 5, which gives me 40, and then I've got 2 more zeros in the original calculation, so I can add 2 more zeros onto the end of my number. Okay. This is the quality of working out I'd like to see from you guys. Use this to help you in future weeks.